Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Week 4 video reflection for Mr. Williams' classes here at Nemaha Valley High School in room 110. Thanks for stopping by and watching. I have a goal to keep this video under 10 minutes today, and we're going to strive to do so. So let's get off and running. This past Monday, I guess, it was a build your own curriculum day for the science staff here in USD 115. So I was not in the classroom with our integrated science and biology students. However, Mrs. Evans was here and she spoke to our 9th and 10th graders about a plethora of guidance counseling material. Everything between standardized testing that's on the horizon, graduation requirements, credit checks, bullying, so on and so forth. Mrs. Evans took roughly the entire class period talking to our students about a litany of topics. So we didn't necessarily conquer any integrated science or biology material on Monday or Tuesday in room 110, but we did discuss several other items. So my absence on Monday was okay in the long run. We didn't really miss out on anything, so that was nice. And I got to have some good time collaborating with the other science staff teachers here at NVHS and BBHS, and got to kind of knock out a little bit of the curriculum with this BOIOC software on the internet, and kind of look into the future a little bit and start putting some things, or start setting some things in stone with the science department and where we're going academically, curricularly over the next several years. So that was nice. I was back in the classroom on Tuesday, but again, Mrs. Evans was talking to our students. But Monday and Tuesday, there is something to note. The biology students were assigned over the weekend. So the previous Thursday and Friday, they were given the Unit 1 take-home test. The idea was it's time to move on to Unit 2. I didn't want to take any more class time to cover Unit 1. We had done due diligence on covering the new material, reviewing some of the old material from last year, and I thought the students were pretty well equipped to complete the take-home test, and the ones that I've taken a gander at so far were well equipped to take the take-home test. I also assigned it as a take-home test because I've been having a little bit of struggle with the biology students doing certain steps, doing certain work outside of the classroom and showing up to class prepared. The submission rate for the take-home test for our 10th grade biology students was 68%. So 32% of our sophomores did not turn in the take-home test on time. That was either Monday or Tuesday. A few red flags there. It was a test. It is a test. And if you're not going to take the test seriously outside of the classroom and use all the resources you have at your disposal, I don't know what you're going to take seriously and what resources you'll use and just how well you'll do inside of this classroom. That's probably the biggest red flag right there, is if you're not going to carve out a little time over the course of a Thursday night through Friday night through Saturday night through Sunday night through Monday up until you have class, to complete that test and use the resources that are online, use your own brain, use each other's brains a little bit, make the test your own. I don't know what we're going to really take sincerely and make our own. So a few red flags, so that's the first one. The second red flag is just the communication with me. Some students still wanting to turn it in and go, I didn't get it, I didn't know, I had questions. I'm very easy to contact, at least that's what I've been told. If I'm not, I need to hear that from that student, and we need to make arrangements, necessary arrangements to make sure that I can provide some assistance. Or maybe we need to set up a little extra time to go ahead and get some of these assignments, tests, labs, homework, whatever, completed on time and turned in when they're due. So those are the two red flags that were really thrown up here by the submission rate of this Unit 1 test. The material I've looked at so far, though, it's been pretty good stuff. All right, and the test was built in a manner at which the students were going to have to apply their brains more than they typically would on a test administered inside of the classroom. If this test was given inside of the classroom, it would take every single second of the 84 minutes that we have in this class. And that's extremely stressful. So I wanted to kind of create a low-stress situation where students had those resources, because the test was built in a manner where you were still going to have to apply that knowledge, and you were still going to have to do a whole lot of thinking. We'll have this discussion with the biology students going forward, and really it's just clearing the air a little bit, all right? Making sure that those students continue to hold their feet to the fire. I continue to hold their feet to the fire, and again, major alarming thing is the sincerity of it all. I think is if you're not going to take that time over the course of 3+ days to do a test outside of the classroom. A test, something that's huge when it comes to your grade. I don't know what we're going to do outside of the classroom to make sure we're prepared for what we're doing inside the class, and we're going to have to be prepared for what we're doing inside the class come Unit 2. We talked about that briefly with biology students on this past Thursday and Friday, because Thursday and Friday this last week, integrated science, we continue to work on our popcorn labs and make progress, conducting our self-built investigations, and also began discussing how to create the lab reports over our self-organized and conducted investigations. Whereas in biology, we wrapped up Unit 1 and began to preview Unit 2, which is all about ecology, and which will have a very, very strong project-based and instructional video feel to it. So not a ton of time needs to be applied outside of the classroom to be prepared for what's going on inside of the class, but there will have to be some time taken to make sure that a student is prepared to conquer what we're doing that day inside the classroom, or what's going to be asked of them that day inside the classroom. On Wednesday, we took a little trip down south of Manhattan to the Konza Prairie. It was our introductory and engagement field trip for Unit 2 Ecology for our biology students. I've been on the Konza several times, took a couple classes out there prior to teaching at Wamego. Fantastic place. Fantastic place to go tour and just gain a real deep appreciation and understanding for our native ecosystem and the native environment that is the tallgrass prairie. And the students, it was a really exciting time. It was a really exciting time. The trip went about as flawless as possible. And we got here, we showed up on time. I was very, very proud of our biology students for the way they conducted themselves, the way they showed up prepared for the trip, and the way that they experienced and enjoyed the entire day. Acted very maturely. So it was kind of a 180. We had 68% turn in their tests on time, and then all of a sudden on Wednesday, we're acting like fantastic young individuals that are aspiring to gain some knowledge and are intrinsically motivated to do so. But it was a fantastic trip. Heard a few comments like, I actually enjoyed looking at grass. Because I know going down there, we were a complete blank canvas. These students had no idea really what we were walking into, or very few of them did. Literally thought we'd just go walking through some grasses. But that was the beauty of it. We broke up into several small groups, and it was a docent-led tour, so trained tour guides for the Konza Prairie, and they shared just a vast amount of information with them, and of course, over the course of 2.5 hours while we were taken into trails, about the history of the Konza Prairie, maintenance of the Konza Prairie, and the wide diversity of the Konza Prairie. You look and you see just grass, but there's hundreds of species of plants out there, and hundreds of species of animals, and lots of living and non-living interactions going on. So I think it was a fantastic experience for our students to really set a solid foundation to build upon as we continue to go through Unit 2, which is all about ecology. And I was couldn't have been happier with how it went, couldn't have been happier with how the biology students did. So tip of the cap to you there, boys and girls. You did a great job. Now, next time we assign some type of large take-home assignment that is a summative grade, let's pull through with a higher percentage than 68 being turned in on time. Okay? I think that's going to do it for this video. Told you I wanted to try to keep it under 10 minutes. Tried to rapidly share as much as possible with you. That was this week in room 110. A few more thoughts about the take-home test. And if you're interested, or if you watch this video and there's some comments or questions that spark in your mind in regards to some of my thoughts or views upon it, email me. Give me a shout, call me, whatever it may be. We'd be happy to talk to you about it. I'm not going to jam-pack the video full of everything, but I've got a few other points of discussion I think I could have off of that. And I could also talk to you more about the Konza Prairie trip if you're interested. But all in all, with it being homecoming week and the mayhem that is homecoming week with all of the other events going on inside the school day and outside the school day and all the other distractions, it was another week of progress. Not as much as I'd like, but some progress for both integrated science and biology. And we've had about 4.5 weeks of school now. I think our students, it's been a little bit of a roller coaster ride. We did a lot of climbing and getting into a good academic rhythm during August. And then we hit Labor Day weekend, and we kind of revert back and kind of tumble down that hill a little bit. And we had to retrain a little bit, although it was the first week of extracurricular activities, so lots of other distractions. So we retrained a little bit, and then boom, homecoming week hits us, and there's tons of distractions. So we haven't really been able to really get a great academic rhythm built yet inside of the classroom. Again, my opinion, my thoughts there. But I think we've got a good foundation built, and we've been slaving away at trying to get that rhythm solidified. So I'm looking forward to the next 2 weeks, and hopefully when I visit you again with the Week 5 reflection after next week, maybe we're in a little bit more of a rhythm. That's the goal. Okay. Thanks for watching. By all means, contact me, kwilliams@usd115.org for email, or @Williams_NVHS if you want to tweet me, and I would love to hear from you. All right. Thanks for your time. Thanks for the great kids that you guys raise. Fantastic individuals. And again, couldn't have been prouder about those bio kids on that Konza trip. Okay. Thanks. Have a good one.